It is Wednesday, September the 25th, 2024. I am James. You are you. We are here for episode 499. 499. And do you feel that? Do you hear it? No. It's not the trademark theme music of the show. It's the calm. The calm before the storm that will whisk us away this coming Monday when we hit 500 episodes. Tonight, we rest. Tonight, we prepare to celebrate. This is like when you are a youngster, someone who enjoys an evening of drinking and boozing, and you're hanging out with your friends in your apartments in perhaps the Shaughnessy Village near Dawson College, one of our famous CJEPs, and you're planning on going to Hurley's or Ye Old Orchard Pub or McKibben's, and you're thinking to yourself, let's pre-party. Not something I might do as a classic teetotaler, but maybe you were one of those people who wants to maybe get a little bit sudsy before heading out for the night. That's what tonight is. Tonight, we all get a little bit sudsy together, whether you're watching from your living room, your bedroom, your basement. Certainly, there have to be some basement-dwelling viewers of this show. And to you, I say, thank you. It doesn't matter where you're watching from tonight. Tonight, we begin the countdown once and for all. The teasing ceases by the end of this show, but that's the end of this show. Right now, we're at the beginning of the show. We're edging towards the end for some of my sexual enthusiasts out there, because I know that this show has got a huge fan base of sex freaks. Maybe, just maybe, we'll give you something to get excited about. But the answer is maybe. Tonight, a panel of legends. You can't get ready for the big one without getting ready with the people that brought you to the dance, the people that brought you to the show. And this is the show. And we are starting the show by introducing tonight's panel. Let's open the door. Let him in. Don't even wipe your shoes. Track the mud into my home all over my new shag carpeting. We're starting it off with the one and the only side piece coming to us. It looks a bit like Beaver Lake. It's Dave Kaufman. Dave.
Hey.
You're leaning into that mic a little bit.
Yeah, I was moving it a little bit closer, just to make sure everyone could hear me.
I think that this is the thing that you've been on the search for, on the pursuit of. Should be your thing on the show. You're the lean-in guy.
You like that, James?
Oh, I don't like it. I love it.
What about this? Wait, I can't.
Yeah, well, we'll just, let's, I feel like I'm watching a music video for Sum 41 in the early 2000s. We're going to move right along. Annabelle Agnew, welcome back to the program, live from your new home. Last time you were here was an old home. It's a new home. Welcome home. How's it going?
It's a new old home.
A new old home. How does it feel? Cozy?
Feels very cozy, especially today. Today feels particularly cozy.
It's fall.
Yes, it's officially fall.
I have to say, I thought about you. I went for a walk to grab dinner, and I thought, ooh, it's a little chilly. The cold doesn't agree with you, or rather, you don't agree with the cold. One of our guests has just evaporated.
Oh.
It is absolutely brutal timing as when he comes back, our great friend Dave will have to reconfigure everything. So that's why we call him Sloppy Joe Conto. So Dave, let's go right to you. I feel like it's apropos that there was a bit of a, not by any fault of your own, a tech snafu right before we hit 500. Let's get immediate reaction.
When I saw, he's asking to come back in. Hold on.
Well, hold on. Let's disparage him a little bit before he shows up.
It's too late. I pressed admit.
Oh.
And now the shot's ruined again.
Yeah,
and then
that's
we
fine.
go back. And
Joe, welcome back in real time. What happened there, Joe?
I don't know. I got booted.
You got booted.
Booted.
Okay.
I live in the mountains. You know, the internet is weird sometimes.
Well,
Okay,
I can relate to that, as I also have bad internet.
Yeah, it's been a theme for the past few months, maybe a year. Joe, let's quickly go to you. You were supposed to be here on Friday. You could not make it due to obligations beyond
That's
your
right.
control. You're here tonight. We couldn't have a night like this without a bit of JC on
Thank
our
you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Tonight is a very interesting episode. Not only, I'm going to spill the beans right now, and Annabelle, much to your dismay, we're bringing the wheel back tonight. I feel like we could do a retrospective just on all of the wheel episodes. Hold on, that's a great idea. Wheel episode with every wheel topic that we've ever done.
The Wheel of Wheels.
The
Wheel
Wheel
of
of
Wheels.
Wheels.
Oh, hold on, that's a good sequel. Wheel of Wheels. Thanks, Dave.
No problem.
Tonight is Previously On At Home with James, where we have collected a series of themes and topics that we chatted about in the first year of this show. From 2020 to 2021, we've got a series of very random topics. Joe, I don't recall, perhaps you were on some of those episodes. You are an OG.
Yeah, I'm one of the originals for real, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
OGJC.
If I'm lying, I'm dying.
Oh, GJC.
Yeah, OGJC, yeah. This is exciting for you, Annabelle. You were not part of the show on the first year, so all of these are going to be new. And I will say, Dave, and this is maybe I'd like to get your comments on this. As I was looking at some of those first years, I was like, damn, we really burned through great topics by going live every weeknight.
Yeah, we sort of cannibalized our potential.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But then I really noticed a considerable dip in the 2021s, or it would be like Casual Friday. It's, Wacky Wednesday, where it was clear that we had no ideas. And I would say in the past couple of years, we've sort of found our identity with strange and unusual topics of discussion.
Yeah, we kind of got, it's called complacency, I think.
Well, I wouldn't say we're complacent now, but I think what I don't even need to say it was complacency then. We hit a wall, as you mentioned. We cannibalized a lot. Look, we had an episode called Friday where we talked about French fries.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good topic.
That's a good topic.
For an hour?
I mean, what food is better than French fries, though?
Pizza.
You think?
Yeah, pizza's better than French fries. I think. Annabelle, where do you weigh in on this? Pizza better than French fries? Because I think even the worst pizza is better than the worst French fries.
Yeah, I think pizza's better than French fries.
And there is such a thing as pretty good pizza, but I don't know that there's anything like if French fries are pretty good, it means they're bad.
I don't know if I agree.
I don't know. Well, maybe we should do a full hour. Maybe it's the new something for the next year is like food fights, a debate of which food is better, and you've got one team. Live debates. That's pretty good.
You can't reheat a French fry.
Well, hold on now. You could toss them in the oven. You can get them a little bit crispy.
No.
You can toss them in some oil on your stove.
Yeah, but
No, you can do whatever you want.
Joe's saying you can't bring them back to life.
sure, but does that matter? Like, it's still good when it comes out.
That's
He
true.
has a compelling argument, but we're gonna save this for the pizza versus French
What if
fry.
I want some tomorrow? Okay.
I can tell you that there is a food topic on our list of Previously On, which has populated the wheel. I can feel that it's already feisty. We've already gotten into a bit of an argument.
I like this.
Everyone against Joe, which I'm in favor of. And I think, frankly, Joe, you're in favor of it too.
Well, if I'm the center of attention, I'm perfectly happy.
Hold on. Let me write this down. Roast of Joe Conto. Live
No,
on
we
Joe.
didn't. Listen, it always
Yeah, that would be
always turns into a roast of Joe Conto.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, are we ready to see some of our previous topics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
Well, there's only one person responsible for that, and that's you, Dave, otherwise known periodically on the show as the Wheel Master or the Master of Wheels.
I would like to be referred as that for the rest of the episode.
Okay, so for people who don't know, if any of us refer to the Wheel Master or Master of Wheels by the name Dave, we have to suffer a punishment in which he doles out. Is that correct, Master of Wheels?
I don't Okay, I'll have to think of some punishments then. Sure.
Well, that's what it always was.
Oh, okay. I'll think of something.
I think it had to do with giving you compliments.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to give me some compliments.
See, we are taking a trip down memory lane here. Coming quickly in from the chat, High Score Run writes, quote, "It's always Joe versus the world."
It is. It's unfair.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's
I know.
hold that thought for the roast of Joe Conto. Wheelmaster, let's spin the wheel.
All right, here we go. Let's
Now,
begin.
Annabelle, as the wheel spins, you a little bit nervous?
So nervous.
I'm gonna wait till you are done talking so that we can all hear the wheel audio.
Oh, see, I was filling the space with the wheel spinning, but okay, Master of Wheels, let's just spin it so we can hear the wheel.
Oh yeah. The retro topic number 1. Will the lockdowns ever end?
All right. Okay. So, Joe, I want to start with you. I vividly remember in those early days there was an episode where you were live. You talked about going through a drive-through Lake Placid. Coincidentally enough, to get I believe
French
it was
fry.
an order of French fries from McDonald's, and you.
It's interesting. You can't get pizza there.
Yeah. Well, you could at
Listen.
one point.
Our McDonald's closed down for quite a while, and when the McDonald's reopened, I just wanted to do something normal, and I went to the drive-through, and I got French fries, and I drove around town and cried.
And Joe admitted this on the air. And this is the thing. I totally relate to where Joe is coming from on that one. Yeah. Annabelle, did you have any moments of is it irrational or rational emotion at strange moments during the lockdown times?
Probably, but I think I blocked it all out. Like I don't.
It's all very vivid to me still.
I know that I was really upset by the Christmas lockdown. Like I was so upset.
2020 or 2021 when we got teased like things are back.
Yeah, I don't remember. See, like it blurs.
2021 was a kick in the shin. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there was just like a couple of lockdowns at the very end where I was like, I'm over it. I don't want this anymore. Yeah.
All right.
Do you know, I think this might be interesting. Do you know that that flea market, the flea market Saint Michel or something?
Yeah.
Of course.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I went there this summer, and there was a section there where they were selling COVID memorabilia.
That's very interesting.
Like, how far apart do we have? Like 2 meters there? Was that what it was? Like they had like 2-meter signs and all these sorts of things, and they were in an area for collector's items. And I thought, jeez.
Now, do you think that there's ever going to be a COVID museum, like a place where you would go to like remember, like a COVID remembrance museum?
Well, I don't know that it's a museum, but I think they'll do like an exhibit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe a
Where they will-
memorial.
Yeah. But not a permanent thing, right? It'll be rotating, like one that is for all sorts of stuff.
Like that body exhibit that goes around everywhere.
Yeah.
Easy,
do one
Dave.
that, you know,
Let's
that
calm
looks
down.
at
Let's
the-
keep it in your pants, Dave.
What do you mean? It's not a sexual thing, James.
Oh, sure it isn't, Dave.
Yeah,
We all know
you
you've been
used the
on the
word
show for the
body.
past 6 months talking about how you love big hooters and stuff like that. Let's calm down, Dave. Let's go back to the now
I'm
you're
sorry.
gesturing. Now you're
I'm
gesturing.
sorry. I'm the only one who loves Hooters.
Dave, let's go back to you here.
Mm-hmm.
When will the lockdown end? What does that mean to you now?
Well, I think it's the 2021 one that peed everyone owed.
Yeah.
Now, what do you mean by 2021?
Well, I remember we had a curfew in Quebec.
Right.
Yeah.
And things were still like unknown, and so it's like maybe we should do this, maybe we shouldn't. And I was willing to be like, okay, I mean, this seems a little bit silly. You can't go out at night. It doesn't really stop COVID, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt. And then we had a period of like freedom, and then it was
and it felt so naughty
Yeah.
at the time. Now, Joe, things are different for you because you didn't have the same type of restrictions we did. Montrealers, we were caged. It was caged heat, man.
Yeah.
When things came back, it was like a stretch of, and it felt like it's like we're back, baby. But it really was like late September up until about early December. We had like a slice of the old days. I was slobbering all over the place. You like that, Dave? I know you do.
I know what you were slobbering at. Sorry, Annabelle.
It's fine. I mean, you do what you need to do during.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dave needed to.
Oh my god. Yeah. So then Joe's gone. Oh, he's back. But then when the second lockdown happened, I feel like everybody sort of knew that it wasn't really helpful, and it just felt like an unnecessary sort of FU to the citizens of our province. So that's what I'm reminded of the lockdowns, is being like slightly mad at the government, but not so much that I was going to go like protest or anything about it. Just being like
no rioting.
No rioting.
Well,
yeah.
Here's the deal, though. What's so interesting about all of it is this show is a product purely because of the COVID times. Everything changed on that Thursday. We launched the show on a Monday. So once we hit the 5-year anniversary, and now I'm already talking about the 5-year anniversary of the show, even though we got 500 episodes coming up, it will also be the 5-year anniversary of the COVID times. You want to talk about a mind bender? Of course it is.
Maybe.
Next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now
but
once
it's
again,
remarkable, like how it still feels like it feels like so far away, and yet it also ate up so much time in the last 4 years.
Hey, should I let Joe back in?
Well, hold on. Let's disparage him a little bit. Dave, what do you think?
I mean, I've already.
This guy didn't have it as hard as us.
No,
he's driving around eating French fries and crying. We were caged from Jan to May of 2021.
Yeah,
we were caged in the winter, and we came out, and it was summer.
Yeah, that's right. He
I
was
drive
in the
around and
free.
eat French fries and cry all the time.
Sure.
Ooh, okay, well.
All right, I'm gonna let him back in.
Okay, let's let him back in here. Now, coming in from the chat, High Score Run writes, Silver Spoon Joe, the roast has begun.
I know.
All right, I think we've done what we need to do with that topic. I want to see how many we can get through here. Master of Wheels, are you ready?
Absolutely. You did call me Dave, I think, in there sometime, but
as I was saying it, I thought for certain I did at some point. Yeah. Would you like a compliment?
But as the Master of Wheels, since I missed it at the moment, I will let it be for now.
Well, so maybe you should compliment yourself.
Yeah, I am enough.
All right, great.
Here we go.
Master of Wheels. Yeah, let's go back to the great topic.
Best/worst of the 90s. The
now,
90s being the 1990s.
Yeah, the 1990s. This was in year 1 of the show. I believe this was April 2020. So we're getting in our time machines. We are a month into the lockdown. We're a month into the show. This was a week-long event. Every single episode was the best and worst of the 90s. In the ways in which we formatted this show was anyone was liberal in pulling one thing from one column, best to worst, and people could populate the column. So every episode, it would grow larger and larger, and people could pull back and forth. Tonight, it's wide open, Dave. What are you thinking? Best and worst?
What was that?
Did I say Dave?
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because I meant to say Joe. Does it count if I meant to say Joe?
I think it counts.
I call Joe Dave.
Actually, if you're referring to Joe,
it's actually a compliment.
There you go. Then it doesn't count because you were referring to Joe.
Okay, so I want to go to our friend that keeps popping in and out of the production call. Let's go to Dave.
Hey, it's me. I'm back. Right? Yeah. Best of the 90s. You know what I really miss is 90s era MTV.
Sure.
Where they, like in the summer, specifically in the summer, they had the MTV Beach House. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody else remembers that.
Yep.
But it was so great, like Bill Bellamy, and they would rent a beach house like on the Jersey Shore or something.
Who hosted that? I feel like, sorry if I interrupted. Who hosted that?
I think it was Bill Bellamy, but also I think it was Daisy Fuentes.
Okay.
Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they had a daily thing. It was sort of like a 90s version of American Bandstand. It was called The Grind. Mm-hmm. And Julie Brown. And they played
downtown.
All the downtown. Yeah, downtown Julie Brown. And she'd say, wubba, wubba, wubba. And she would introduce the songs and everything. So in the summer, they'd go to the beach house. But every other time, it was that. I think that was a really great part of the '90s was was '90s MTV. Like they were starting, like they premiered The Real World, all these things. Like '90s MTV mattered. Yo MTV Raps
Hmm.
was there. It was real great. I liked it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to stick with the best right now. Annabelle, let's go to you.
I think, I mean, I love the 90s. I was a teenager in the 90s. There's not a lot that I don't love about the 90s. I think one of my favorite things is that we didn't have the internet really yet.
Hmm.
It's kind of the last generation without it. And I'm just thinking about all of those, Wednesday nights with 90210, hanging out with my friends in their houses, a lot of smoking and coffee shops and in bars. I loved that, even though I'm not a smoker anymore. Um,
You can still enjoy those. It's what the smoking represents.
Yeah, it felt very social. Like it was a
Hmm.
very social time. And maybe that's because I was a teenager, but I also do think that the 90s had this culture built into it that felt extremely social. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Annabelle,
Dave,
Annabelle, did you
yep.
smoke clove cigarettes?
No,
No.
no. I smoked Players and Dunhill and whatever I could get my hands on, really.
Yeah.
Now,
Did you
James.
ever like cut your bangs real short? I'm just thinking, how coffee shop were you? Cut your bangs real short and maybe carry a lunchbox as a purse.
No, no lunchbox is a purse.
Yeah.
Bangs occasionally. Uh, Definitely Doc Martens.
Doc Martens and denim miniskirt, like that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. With
Yeah.
like the
Good girl.
stockings and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Let's go to
Oh
Dave,
man.
who is about, excuse me, let's go to the Wheelmaster. Wheelmaster, I just want to say you're doing an incredible job tonight as you have with all of the wheels. Let's go to the Wheelmaster, who is in the midst of getting ready to humiliate me.
Thank you. I was gonna say just before Joe interjected, you did say
Oh, I think you mean Dave.
right. So I was wondering. You said Dave. I was wondering if you were referring to Joe or if you were referring to me. You're referring to Joe. Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback off what Joe was saying. I think both.
I
of
think you mean Dave.
Right. I was going to piggyback on what Dave was saying. And Annabelle, actually. Like, the 90s had a killer music scene, just, like, in general. Yeah, you had it, like, later on, you had, like, the sort of rise of, like, the pop groups and stuff. But earlier, you had sort of the end of, like, the metal era into, like, the grunge era, into sort of, like, the musicians' music rather than, like, sort of, I don't know, like, glam pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
So many good bands came out like in the mid 90s. Coffee shop music was like a huge thing. Yeah, all that was like pretty awesome. I recently like revisited like early Radiohead albums. Like Oasis obviously just reunited, and so like re-listening to all their music, and like yeah, it's simple, but it's they're bangers front to back. So
I
I
think
want to know where this lands for people on the best or worst list. You're talking about music. What about Woodstock 99?
well,
sure,
that's the
yeah.
tail end of the
Yeah,
90s.
at
It
the
was
end of the 90s,
incredible.
you sort of had like this transition into like new metal where the music kind of got worse until there was sort of that
Well, hold
rock.
on. Well, worse is, a lot of good stuff out there.
Sure. I guess it depends on your perspective. And from my perspective, like, yeah.
That's a corn, by the
Oh,
way.
Oh,
sure, yeah, corn. From
I
my
loved
perspective,
it when swing dancing
Swing
had a
dancing. I was just
complete
thinking of that.
stranglehold on the American culture for
Yes.
about 18 months,
like
right,
Brian
Yeah.
Annabelle?
Setzer or whatever is it? The
Oh
Brian
yeah,
Setzer
but
Orchestra?
like I remember that ad, the Gap ad. It was called Gap Swing,
Yeah.
and oh, man,
What about the Cherry Poppin' Daddy? Zoot Suit
yeah.
Riot, throw
Yeah,
back
all
a
of
bottle
that.
of
I was
beer.
living in Banff at the time, and we had so many swing nights. It was so
It was
fun.
Yeah,
fun,
I'm
right?
I'm ready to just say that song that's on the worst list. Yeah, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies suck.
How about the squirrel nut zippers? They were a thing.
I will say though, like early 90s, like they really did feel like there was a whole movement in terms of movies and books and music. Like there was a real wave of something that
Yes.
felt
What
new.
about the worst? Annabelle, the worst.
The worst of the 90s? Worst of the 90s. Mm,
Wow, you love the 90s.
I got
Oh,
something.
they were pretty
Yeah.
great.
I'm sure there's something. I just have to think about it for a second. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Lou Pearlman and everything that he sort of brought to the forefront.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, that music made a lot of people happy.
Yeah,
It
we
did.
didn't know it yet. I mean, the trouble.
The Treble, sure. I mean, that was its own thing, but it's sort of like the generic, like build a band and have them like, wiggle their hips for the youth, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the same thing happened in the 50s and the
Yeah.
60s and the 70s. You know, every decade has it, right?
Yeah, but
true.
it still can be bad. It doesn't
Oh,
mean
yeah,
that it's
that.
good.
I'm gonna jump in with that video of all those Microsoft guys dancing to Start Me Up at that conference. That's the worst.
Sure. I will say Microsoft
the
in the
90s?
90s were very poorly behaved in terms of their litigiousness and in terms of like the sort of free software movement. So I agree. I'll put Microsoft up on that list.
Well, mine's just the launch video where they're dancing. Excuse me, Joe. Let's go to you. The worst.
Yeah, the uh, well, the beginning of the death of mall culture was sort of tough to watch happen because you know I grew up really my high school years and everything were in the 80s, my early college years, and the mall was like pretty important.
Yeah.
And to see it sort of like in the beginning of the 90s, it was great, but then toward the end, you could already smell the beginning of the end almost. You know.
Can I?
Though I tell you what, man, like Scream movies and stuff. You know, like that reinvention of the horror movie. God, I think the 90s were pretty great.
I think
the economy
Scream.
was
There's
good.
a very and this
Clinton
this
was a
spawned
great president.
I think this movie spawned quite a debate between me and Dimitri on this show. I think that there is a claim to be made that Scream is the best horror movie ever.
I love it. And I don't really love those movies, but I like those
And I
movies.
can't wait until the next one.
It sort of stands on its own in the sense that
Yes.
Yeah.
it's a commentary on those movies. So I feel like it's almost like it's like postmodern in that sense, and you can't like it's hard to compare that versus like earlier horror movies,
Yeah.
just because it's like a commentary on it. But I do agree. I mean, it's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
mean,
I remember
it
sneaking into
It
the
made it
theater.
more accessible for someone like me who doesn't really enjoy those types of movies. I really loved the Scream series.
It's also a very fun movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
Jamie
that's right.
A
Kennedy.
very good cast. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the-
Before
it's really
the
a whodunit,
experiment.
right? It's a whodunit,
Yes.
just
Yeah.
set in the horror movie world.
Great
Skeet.
twist at the end. We're not gonna spoil it. Look, Dave.
Yeah, I
excuse me.
just rewatched it too. It's great.
So
Like,
you were
it's
talking to
really-
Joe
It
there?
holds up.
No, I was talking to the Master of Wheels. You know, I don't think anyone but me ever messes this up. I just want to say, I think that Wheelmaster, you've done a really incredible job of pivoting each time Joe's call has dropped, and you've been able to just seamlessly and flawlessly get everything back into place.
Oh, I appreciate that, James.
And you're getting
You know,
another compliment from
can
the
I just
chat
say one
from
thing?
BroDog91. Love the autumn backdrop.
Hey, thanks,
Annabelle.
bro, dog.
I was talking to someone the other day about my job when I was in the 90s, which is I worked in a pharmacy in the Rideau Center in Ottawa, so in the mall. And I loved that job, and I had many different positions inside where I'd be the cosmetician or the cashier, or count the pills in the back with the pharmacist, and so on. Or I'd like do stuff with product and put product up on the shelves. But I really like miss the pricing gun. Like we would have to like price everything like, and like there was like it felt like a real fun system. I know that scanning has saved a lot of time, but there was something really like nice. It felt, I don't know, just old. Looking back on that.
It's like almost like
There's something
meditation,
fun
like the
about
noise of it.
physical things, right?
Yeah.
I
Look,
like an
we're-
old-fashioned lighter that has like a little wheel. You have to open the top and go, and you can smell the flint on it. Yeah, I
Like
know.
I think
Zippo?
we have to just redo this topic again. What's old is going to be new in 2025. Well, we'll do it live, as they say. Wheelmaster, can we go back to the wheel?
Absolutely.
We're already more than halfway through this episode. I think we've done two
All
topics.
right, let's begin.
Oh. But now I'm real nostalgic now, Annabelle. You made me nostalgic.
There might be other moments of nostalgia on this list, Joe. Or should I say Dave?
All right, things that rule.
Things that rule. Again, this was a 2020 episode. Things that rule. This is just wide open. I think we can blast through this. The whole thought process was it can't just be like, oh, you know what rules? Having money. It's got to be very specific things, like something like putting socks on that are warm on a cold day. They got to be very. It's got to be real specific. Like someone might say, "Oh, when someone scratches your back," I don't like that stuff. It's gross to me. But it's got to be super specific. Annabelle, let's go to you.
Well, for me, it's my morning. Every night, I'm so excited about my morning, which is I'm going to have a cup of tea in bed first, and then I'm going to have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Being excited for the morning the night before. Yeah, that it's not so much that the morning rules, it's the moment of, ooh, in the morning I'll get,
It's that hot cup of tea, and then like.
That's good.
What kind of tea do you drink?
It's just a regular.
Like Earl Grey?
No, that's
sounds like English breakfast to
fussy.
me.
English breakfast.
It is a fussy. Earl Grey is fussy. Joe, let's go to you. Things that rule.
Yeah, quite the opposite of what Annabelle was saying. I really like it when you have a glass and it's packed with ice.
Oh,
and you pour something in it, like say a Fresca. Fresca rules first.
I know, Joe. I know where you're going with this.
And when you pour it in there, you hear the ice make that really loud crack, 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 and that's when you know, oh, that's an icy drink, my friend. You're going to get a cold drink. Yeah, I like that. Another cold thing that really rules. Keeping like a pint of coffee ice cream in the freezer and just taking 1 tablespoon. That's all you need.
Whoa.
1 spoonful.
A man of great control. Done. Dave, let's go to you. Things that rule. Rapid fire.
I can't really think of anything, but I'm going to say some moments. Yeah, sure. Boobs.
Well, Joe, there's a specific kind that he likes.
Hooters. Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Dave.
I'm going to slightly change the vibe from that to saying moments of connection with my daughter.
Wow.
Which, isn't...
as a parent, it sounds like another parent laughed at you.
No, I don't think she was laughing. I think she was laughing at the juxtaposition.
I was just laughing at the change.
Yeah, the juxtaposition.
Okay, yeah. It felt more like, wait, that's your answer?
No.
I got one right here.
But wait, I can't finish my thing?
You did finish.
Forget it. Go to your thing.
This is mine. When you go to a restaurant, whether you're picking up or you've eaten in, and the server or the counter person has bypassed the tip option, and you can just pay without tipping.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Annabelle, let's go back to you. Rapid fire.
Oh, another one?
Yeah, let's do it.
A cold Corona on a hot day with lime in it.
Okay. Joe, another one that rules.
You know when like a cat crosses the room and they come by and they just bang you with their forehead? I love it when a cat just knocks into you with their head.
Joe's answers are really the exact type of specific that this topic was all about. Dave, let's go to you.
Okay, here's
Give
one.
us a specific one.
Trying a new sandwich at a place and then it's really good. Am I wrong?
I think that's specificity.
It's like it's better than you expect it to be.
Yeah. All right, great.
Did I kill the show?
Do we want to go around the horn one more time?
Well, James, what about you?
Well, I wanted to save time for other people.
Go.
Come on, James.
Okay. Things that rule, I'm going to go with... Oh, you know what? When you open your window when you wake up in the morning and you get that gust of cool breeze.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. A cool breeze in a morning out from a window. It can't be when you go outside. It's got to be from the window.
Is it in the summertime?
As long as it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one.
Oh, yeah, Annabelle. Yeah, that's the loop. Yeah.
Yeah, the sound. Well, this is inspired by James's, but I love the sound of rain as I'm falling asleep. I love it.
That's a good one.
So good.
Yeah. Joe, let's go to you.
I like using a letter opener on a letter, and it doesn't rip or anything. It just goes, and it's just a perfect slice.
Oh, you're getting that
Ooh.
to sensory
Yeah,
satisfaction.
the
Mm.
same way when you're like cutting wrapping paper,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even have to snip the scissors. You get it just so, and it goes, and it slides
Mm-hmm.
right through.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ugh.
Yeah. Wheelmaster.
Good one. I'm gonna say this is going back to the music thing. Hearing a song that you used to like after a really long time and you haven't heard it for a while, and you're reminded of the enjoyment that you had for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there one you have in mind, Dave? Like, is there a song that recently that happened?
I mean, it's happened. It's happened a few times. There's one by this band Artico Vespucci, and then there's one by just
What
like
was that name again?
Artico Vespucci,
Okay.
and
Sounds like
then
a character name.
just like getting back into Oasis after not hearing them for like probably because I got sick of all their songs. Like
This is your second Oasis drop of the night.
that's what I'm saying. But he asked me, so it's like I had heard Wonderwall like a billion times to the point where I was sick of it, and then I probably didn't listen to it for 20 years, and then I listened to it again. I'm like, oh, this song actually is good. I was just sick of it after having heard it so much.
Right. You
Dave,
made
I
your
just
last
had
song.
an experience like that with Radiohead in the car on the way home from work. I was driving back to Ottawa. I'm from Ottawa to Montreal. It's late at night, and I needed like loud music. And a Radiohead song came on, and it was "Creep," which was so overplayed for
I
so
knew it.
long.
I knew it was going to be Creep.
Fun though.
I hated that song for so long, but then I was listening to it, I was like, no, this is amazing. I love this song.
It's good, but it's overplayed, and they have a lot
Well,
more
it's not-
interesting.
Not
music.
overplayed
Exactly.
anymore.
That's true. That's true.
It's not, yeah.
I got one final one. It's when you buy a piece of clothing, you get home, you're like, oh, I actually don't like this. You revisit it much longer thereafter. You're like, you know what? I'm in now. When
Yes.
something that you bought that you hate, you're like, oh no, this is the shirt.
Yes.
There we go. Let's nostalgic wheelmaster. Let's go back to the wheel. This is a night of nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Here we go.
Let's begin.
We've landed on bizarre encounters.
So once again, this was back in the Instagram Live, Dave's. The Instagram
You're referring
Live
to Joe there?
No, that was more of a slip of the tongue.
Okay.
Is that permissible, Wheelmaster?
It is, yes.
Yeah. This was back during the Instagram Live days. It was an entire episode dedicated to encounters that we would feel are bizarre. Now, it would be easy to be like, oh yeah, like I ran into some creep. I want to know, can we dig even further from just like creeps, but just a bizarre encounter with someone? I had one recently that I would say was bizarre enough. I was picking up food at Pizza. It was late at night. Got my food. I said, oh, thanks. And then the counter guy told me, have a good sleep. Being wished a good sleep by a counter person at a Pizza, I'd say is a little bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just to get us a little bit warmed up. I'm turning the car keys.
I got
I
one.
have one that's kind of.
You got to say it now. Look,
It's dark. It's dark. Okay.
Yep.
Now, first thing, when I was okay, this is sad, but it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my older brother, who was just a year older than me, died in a car accident, and it was a turning point in my life. But again, I'm a 59-year-old man day after tomorrow, so right, this is from the past. Anyway,
well, happy birthday.
thank you. I ran into this, as an adult, I ran into this woman who lived up the street from us when I was a kid, and she got it in her head that I had died and that I was my brother. Do you know what I mean? So she referred to me as my brother's name, and she told me how sad she was still that I was dead. And I had to, just to make her feel better, because she was an old lady by then, I had to pretend that I was my own dead brother.
Oh my
So,
god.
if somebody says, gee, is Joe Conto the guy, is he a pleaser? Is he a people pleaser? I would say yes.
You could, oh my God. That might be a highlight of the show, I think.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked.
That is fucked
That's
up.
fucked.
Yeah, but I
agree.
think it's, yeah, you're the weird part.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no. Listen, I don't think so.
Not correcting the person that you are not the deceased.
Like, I didn't want her to have to relive
But maybe
the
she would have
pain
been like,
of
oh.
losing my brother. What? I
It
don't
may
know.
have been too confusing though, like if she was that old and maybe
Yeah.
not.
That's a great story, only to be tagged at the end with a giant glug of milk, fresh
No,
out
it's
of the.
water. It's water. But here's the point. Do you know I've never told anybody that before? It just happened, and I went around my day, and it's not that I'm ashamed of it or whatever. It never struck me to tell anybody until I thought, have I had a really bizarre encounter?
It's a
And that one felt
great
bizarre.
story.
It's a great
Yeah.
It's a
story.
great story.
I think I would have done the same as you, Joe. I don't think I would have said anything. I feel like just like
I think I would have. I don't think that my ego would have allowed it to stand.
Mm.
I would have said, "Listen, you old bat,
No.
Annabelle, let's go to
Mrs.
the
Henderson.
bizarre
she's silly.
encounters."
I don't know that
Yeah,
I
beat that, Annabelle.
I got
I don't
one.
think-
I can if it's easier.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was traveling in Seattle. I think I might have told this on the show before, but I was traveling in Seattle with my wife. And if you haven't been, Seattle is a great town, but there's a lot of homeless and there's big like drug, opioid crisis. So we were walking around by like radio stations and then by the pier. And then we were just tired because we'd been walking around all day in the sun. So we sat down on a curb, and my wife just like sort of like hunched over, just closed her eyes for a second. And somebody from across the way had a big giant Tupperware container and goes, "Did she OD? Did she OD, man?" So he thinks that my wife had OD'd on the street, and I was like,
There's
"No."
a lot of mistaken identity in these stories.
Yeah. And I was like, no, she's fine. We're just relaxing. And he's like, okay. Do you want to help me with my bird? And in his giant Tupperware container, he had a seagull that was like covered in toilet paper. It was alive with a broken wing. And he's like, I want to put this seagull into the water to release it. And he was like, I need your help. So I grabbed the other side of this, like it's a pretty big Tupperware container, like a giant bin you'd store like clothes in at home. And
Okay.
I help him, and we like dump the Tupperware container into the water.
What about the toilet paper?
It just plops down with the toilet paper in the water, and the bird's just like sort of drifts off. And he's like, "Hey, thanks," and I'm like, "All right." So that was a bit bizarre.
Yeah, Annabelle, any contributions?
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, Annabelle.
I mean, I do, but a lot of it's just like weird creep stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think these stories are better. I'm not gonna try to compete
James, you got
with
something?
anything. Yeah.
Oh, you started off, I guess. Yeah.
I gave my. I mean, I had a particularly. This is not a crazy story, but many years ago, I was walking down the hill on Atwater, getting to my neighborhood, and there was this guy who he had a very well constructed story about why he needed money, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got this like tumor," and he lifted his shirt, and he had this just enormous, unpleasant protuberance. And I gave him $20. I gave him $20, and I didn't really think twice about it. And then, probably about a year later, maybe even less, maybe 6 months later, I was waiting for the metro, and he came up to me and he was telling the exact same story. And I said, "Oh, I remember you. You told me this story." And he went from his character to incensed. He's like, "You don't know me. You've never seen me in your life." And I said, "Hey, man, it's all good. I understand what you're trying to do. There's I'm just saying that I've heard this story." And then he somehow turned, but his head was still looking me the whole time. It was, "Ah." And I think like in that moment, he was so caught off guard that because for him, he's probably like, how many times am I going to run into the same mark? And he did. And yeah, I set him off.
But the tumor was real or it was fake?
Yeah.
It was real. And then I did some research on this guy, and I think there was a Reddit thread like, "Oh, has anyone seen Tumor Guy?" And I had subsequently seen him many times after, just hanging around. It looks like it could have been made by Tom Savini, the famous
Makeup artist?
horror film special effects guy.
Wow.
When I was in, I went to go to the Vatican in Rome, and you're waiting in line, and there's like people who are just begging, and there was one older lady who had like a hole in her skull, and you could just see like a small film that was like covering like whatever was underneath. I didn't go in and like take a peek, but it was weird because it was like
You can go and take a whiff.
yeah, I didn't take a whiff. It was like pulsating, and I was like, like jeez. So I gave her some money, and then I found like.
Did you put it in the hole?
But apparently,
The interesting part is a gumball comes out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Thanks for the gumball, Mickey.
One of those little plastic containers that's got a little toy in it.
It was a spider ring.
Yeah.
The slime thing. Yeah.
Oh, the slime thing that's a hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like with it's long, so you're able to pulls back.
So I took that in with me to the Vatican. And just
we're still on the '90s topic.
You hit the
with all
Pope.
that stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, apparently she's known to be around that. At the time, she was like sort of famous as being the lady who was waiting by the Vatican line.
Let's go back to the Wheelmaster.
No, real quick. Is that Spider-Man guy still downtown Montreal?
I don't think Spider-Man guys. A lot of the originals are gone. Hollywood. I don't believe is with us anymore.
I think he passed
I'll
away.
tell you what. I saw Soap Man in the Mile End. Does anyone remember the guy who used to sell soap and he had the Canadians jersey? Soap Man.
Oh,
I think
I don't know that guy.
He's in the Mile End.
They made a Soundgarden song about him.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Soap Man. But Spoon Man also gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's also gone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about the guy who used to hold people up with a banana? Do you remember
He's
him?
deceased.
He's deceased.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
Oh, that's Hollywood.
He passed, I think, about a year ago.
Oh,
yeah.
that's too bad.
Yeah.
He was fun.
So, can I just jump on everyone saying
Yeah.
with the mistaken identity thing? That this one guy came up to. I used to go to a cafe all the time when I was at Concordia, and this guy came up to me one day and he's like, "Hey, how do I know you?" And I was like, "Oh, you and I, we went to school in Ottawa together in grade 5. Your name is Zarko. You have a twin sister, and then you moved to Yugoslavia." And then
Now, I just want to jump in. I believe I know this story.
yes, you do.
And if we land on a particular topic, I knew that this would be pertinent to you. But let's go.
I can
with
leave it there. But
No.
the answer.
Look, we're at 9:55 right now.
Okay.
This is a great story. Go for it.
But anyway, so then he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, we actually know each other?" Like he used it as like a pickup line. and then he wasn't like prepared for me to know him. Yeah. So I'll leave the story there because it
That
does
rules.
continue, but I'll leave it there.
Are you sure? Because we
I'll
may
leave it.
not. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wheelmaster, let's go back to the wheel. I don't know if we'll get to all of these topics, but we'll sure try. What have we landed on, Wheelmaster?
It might be pertinent. Worst first dates.
Annabelle, do we go back to you?
So the story continues. So I think we were like at the cafe late, and he was like, "Hey, let's go out from here." And so I said, "Yeah, okay." And we were walking down St. Catherine, and we go through.
Can I just ask, up to this point, are you like, I'm having a good time with Zarko?
Yeah, we were having a few drinks at the cafe. It was Cine Express, which was like this.
Yeah.
It was like a constant.
You weren't put off by his like fact that he was doing a line or anything, or no?
I mean, I was young and really dumb. Let's just put it that way.
Well, look, at a certain point, opening lines is all you've kind of got early on.
Sure.
There's not a lot. Yeah.
It was kind of funny. Like in the end, when that exchange happened, it was funny that he was like, "Oh, I actually know you," and then we continued talking. So we go to this arcade, which was, I think, near Parasuco Jeans. Do you know what I'm talking about? Right near Crescent.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the arcade. He takes me through the arcade, and we go downstairs into the basement. I'm pretty sure, Dave, you've heard this story too.
What did you just call him?
Oh, scared.
You mean me? I don't
Yeah,
know.
you talking to Joe?
So we go down to the basement, and it's a peep show. Like, it's a peep show. And so what it is that like a row of closets, and you open up one of the closets, and then there's like a chair with a mirror on the back of the door, and a TV over top with like a slot machine and a channel changer to watch porn. So we go in there, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like this is our date? And then he just takes his pants off. And I go, okay.
Was he in his underpants or no?
You know what? I really at that point was like, I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
totally out. So I run up the stairs and I
He's
go,
he's a man of bold moves.
bold moves. So then when he follows me out into the alleyway, and I'm like, what? Like, why did you bring me here? And he's like, I thought you were different. What's this line?
Wow.
Jesus
I thought you were
Christ.
different.
Wheelmaster, you got anything you can top that? Bad first dates?
I mean, I've been married or in a relationship for like almost 20 years now, so I don't really have too much.
And look, in the defense of the Wheelmaster, I also have no remarkably bad first. Like the worst I had was maybe boring, and even then, it wasn't particularly bad.
Right.
Me and the Wheelmaster might be nothing here.
Yeah.
Joe?
Dave, you got something?
One time when I lived in Boston, this girl came up to me on the T, which is their metro system, and she said, "I like your pea coat," because I had this really great. Again, it was the '90s. Remember pea coats in the '90s?
Mm-hmm.
And hey, everybody, remember pea coats in the '90s? So
Was that Bob Dylan?
I don't know. It was supposed to be Seinfeld. I don't know. So at any rate,
No, it's not all this. What is the deal with
Yeah.
all these peacoats?
wait, let me try it again. Remember pea coats from the. So
It's a
anyway,
Bob Dylan
No,
song.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
I got to say something real quick. You know, I knocked a tooth out over the summer. Did you know this? That I
Yes.
fell down in this marble bathroom. And I'm looking here, and you can't really tell. That's a fake tooth. Like, I could take it out right now. It's not my permanent one.
Can
I'm
you?
so scared to come on here. That's not bad.
Can
I
you
got a
take it
space
out?
between my teeth.
Looks good,
Here's the
Joe.
point.
Would
So
you
she
be,
said,
would you be willing to take it out?
No, never. So I'll tell you what, I will make a jack-o'-lantern of some year that looks like me without the tooth. I swear to God.
Joe,
No.
are you telling me
No.
you're entering the 2024 pumpkin
Yeah,
carving
you know what? I'm
extravaganza?
entering, but it's just going to be me without my tooth.
All right,
With a
okay.
fake
Oh yeah. I like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, and I would win. I'm telling you, it is that scary.
All right.
So she said, and then I go, thank you, and I'm talking to her, and I'm so easily flattered, right? That I'm like, oh, this peacoat's really doing it. And she said, oh, I'm going to, anyway, she invited me to go to this thing with her, and I was like, oh my God, because I hadn't lived in Boston very long, and I thought, they love me in Boston. So I went to this thing, but it ended up being a recruitment meeting for a religious cult.
Oh.
And that was a bad date.
But you joined the cult, right?
Well, yeah, she liked my peacoat.
Yeah,
Remember,
right.
I'm a pleaser, right?
You're a
Yeah.
pleaser. Yeah.
Well, Wheelmaster, why don't we go back to the wheel? We got time for at least one, maybe two. Let's see what we land on here. Depending on how juicy it is, it might be a good closer.
Classic topic for the show is Christmas. Sexy.
Sexy.
Now, I debated not putting this on because it certainly is not the holiday season, but it felt apropos for tonight's show. Joe, interestingly enough, you were on the original debate where Dimitri and myself were debating the merits as to whether or not Christmas was sexy. He was for, I was against. Joe, you were there to argue in favor of it being not sexy. Has anything changed over the years?
No, I understand that people try to make it sexy, right?
Yeah.
Like Eartha Kitt with Santa Baby and all that sort of stuff. It's not sexy. Like
Can I jump in? You bring up an interesting point that people try to, and this is
Well,
always
sure.
my argument that yes, inherently you can make anything sexy. You could make drinking a cup of coffee sexy if you wanted to.
So
But
sexy.
is sexiness rooted in it? And
No.
that's all. People are always like, but what about the office parties? I was like, but that's not because of Christmas. Just parties are and can
Sexy.
be inherently sexy.
Right.
Yeah. Joe,
Especially like office parties can be sexy because it's people. We don't need to get into it. Yeah, whether it's the
a
religious or the
corporate office getaway is. I feel like people are
sexy.
constantly trying to hook up at those.
Conferences are sexy.
Yes. Yeah.
Not
They're
the
in
ones I go
hotels.
to.
Hotels are sexy.
Well, yeah,
The
because Dave,
coffee
you're going to
machine's
video
sexy.
game conferences with a bunch of nerd
That's
guys.
right, I am.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's just one big circle jerk around the Pac-Man. But the idea of Christmas, whether it's religious or secular, neither of them are rooted in it. You know what I mean? Tiny
Annabelle,
Tim,
where do you
Baby.
land on this? Are you a devil's advocate here, or
I think you and I have had off show arguments about this, James.
no, well, I want to say there's been many things that have happened on this show that people have confronted me about off air.
Yeah.
So
I
it
think
really,
you and I
the
talked
show
about it in
transcends.
chat.
Yeah, where do you land on this?
I can see it being sexy. Like I would say I can maybe I'm like middle. I'm middle. Can
You're
I be-
straddling the
Annabelle,
fence.
Yeah.
Annabelle, can I suggest what you're doing possibly, and you tell me whether or not this is true?
Uh-oh.
I think you think winter is sexy. You know, fur and snow and chili and hee haw.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But
cuffing season.
cuffing season is sexy. Christmas happens to be there.
That's
Like-
possible.
Like if
That's
you took
possible.
Christmas out of it, but you did wintry stuff, I think that's what you find sexy.
Annabelle, can you talk
Say
about
what?
what part about Christmas is sexy? Now, coming in from the chat, Brodog91, quote, Christmas themed lingerie is pretty sexy. Lingerie is sexy.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wore the Christmas lingerie in June, you wouldn't be like, wow, this is really taking me to the holidays. You'd be like, those stockings are really revving my engine.
Yeah, I think like there can be sexy elements at Christmas. Like
Name them.
Name them.
like I just like the community and the connection that happens with people. I don't know. There's
The community and the connection. It feels like you're giving a speech after you've won an award for like best cookies at the bake sale.
Or
Yeah.
like philanthropy. Yeah.
Yeah. This
That's
award
awesome.
wouldn't have been possible without the community and connection that I've made.
And speaking of
Super sexy.
community,
Yeah, Christmas lingerie underneath.
yeah. And then James goes, "They're really revving my engine."
Yeah, I feel like I could give a better argument for why Christmas is sexy
I
and
think
not
you could.
believe it than yeah.
Yeah.
Dave,
But,
where
like,
do you
there's-
land on this?
There's
Who?
like mistletoe.
Excuse me, yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, now this I think is at least a compelling argument. Mistletoe.
Yeah.
That I've got time for that one. Excuse me, Wheelmaster, you look very freshly showered today.
Thank you.
Where do you land on this, Wheelmaster?
I'm going to lean towards not sexy. I mean, firstly, it's a holiday that's based on a virgin having a kid, which immediately
That's good.
isn't sexy. I think it's snuggly. I think it's a time when
Yeah.
people get together and snuggle.
And no one ever said Christmas wasn't romantic.
And I was going to say also, Christmas can be romantic, but I don't find it that sexy. Although I will say, yeah, I guess mistletoe, that would be the one thing argument in the other direction.
It's a little cheeky.
I will say that
But can I say this? Has anyone actually been caught under the mistletoe? I have not.
No.
Dave, excuse me, Wheelmaster. I would love to catch you under the mistletoe, Wheelmaster.
oh, that's a very
Why
nice
you asked me
compliment, James.
first?
Oh, right. Yes. Excuse me. Dave?
No.
Yeah. So there you go. Like, we talk about this thing being sexy, but no one dares do it.
I've got a question for you, everyone. So my daughter goes to daycare and my son goes to the same daycare, and the director
There could not have been a less sexy pivot.
and
Yeah.
the director of the daycare
the
is a
director.
woman in her, I guess, 30s, and she dresses as
Go
a
on.
Santa over Christmas, but it's a little bit of a provocative Santa. Now I know on the show I'm known as the horn dog.
And why is that?
I don't know. 'Cause
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Joe gets it.
But for real, like with no
Describe
bits,
the outfit.
it's like a sexy Santa. It's a tight.
I don't know what that means. Is it like just the jacket?
It's like
then she's wearing
it's not a.
high heels?
Or is it like a close fitting
It's like a
dress?
close-fitting
Like, even-
Santa dress, yeah, with
Yeah.
not cleavage, but extremely form fitting.
Is it like Santa
And
Baby kind of mean
yeah,
girl?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Which I feel like is a bit, I don't know, it's a daycare, so I feel like
but aside from that, how does it make you feel, Wheelmaster?
that
Does it rev your engine?
it doesn't. It's just like, this is my kids go to this daycare. Like,
But I'm saying, away from all of that,
if it were in a different context, I'd be like, okay.
what's the context? What's your preferred context?
Gentleman's club.
Like, yeah, if it was at gentleman's club, or I don't know, like even if it was
What's
at
your
an
favorite
office,
gentleman's
if it was
club?
at an office party of like adults, I would say this is a bit much. Like that's the level that I'm at with it.
But hold on,
Right.
what's your favorite gentleman's club?
I don't even know. I don't know.
Wheelmaster.
Chardonnays.
All right, so we've got our answers, and Annabelle's is it sexy to be around community?
Yeah.
I know. When I think sexy, I think about what's the community that I'm part of. That
Nothing
I'm
like a
helping-
town hall meeting to get the engines
Yeah.
revving.
yeah, on a Sunday morning.
Stale donut, anyone?
Coming in the chat, Brodog91 writes, quote, busting out the mistletoe, a real Socrates move. Legend of At Home, Socrates, the pickup artist. Yeah, maybe we all need to kind of find our
Not here tonight.
our internal Socrates this holiday season.
Yeah.
Look, I think we've done it. Annabelle, final thoughts as we conclude episode 499.
I forgot to mention the end of that story about the peep show.
Oh, wait. You stayed and watched the movie, or you turned a corner
No, so,
and
like,
the Wheelmaster was there?
20 years later, with my ex-partner, we were at the immigration office to get his citizenship, and Zarko was there getting his with his wife and kids, and we said hello to each other. And I didn't.
Were you like, that could have been me if I went to the peep show?
Yeah, no.
I could have been the mother Zarko.
Yeah, Mrs. Zarko.
I could have been Mrs. Zarko. Yeah.
Joe, final thoughts?
Two things. First of all, we won't go through it tonight, but I have a the Zarko story made me think of the story about this person named Ziggy. Remind me sometime when we have time, the Ziggy story.
It's a preview
also,
for a future ep.
I'm going to say, what's that?
It's a preview for a future ep.
Yeah. There's that. I just wanted to say that I had a really, really nice time talking with you guys. It felt like a real conversation that we would all have just having a beer or Coca-Cola together, and I really enjoyed it. It felt genuine, and I felt like we were a community. And I'm
hold on.
Easy.
Oh, you're going to make Annabelle a little hot under the collar talking about community.
No.
Take some more of that milk. Yeah, well, hold on. You're going to get Wheelmaster all...
point is, I really enjoyed this. I'm going to have a quart of milk.
Wheelmaster, final thoughts?
I had fun too. So thank you, everybody.
Yes, I also had fun on tonight's episode of At Home with James, live on Twitch. That's it. Episode 499 in the books. Episode 500 is this Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of fun stuff planned so far. I'm happy to announce the return of a couple faves. First of all, Raquel Belmonte coming back for the 500th. Also coming back.
The best.
I did so much work to track this guy down. The one and the only Connor Rose coming back.
Oh, no kidding.
Without laughing.
Good. That's good.
Coming back this Monday. It's going to be just a parade of stuff. To say that I've got it fully developed would be wrong, but we'll keep you appraised until then. I want to thank Annabelle. I want to thank Joe, a.k.a. Dave. I want to thank the Wheelmaster, a.k.a. Dave. I want to thank you for watching on this random Wednesday night episode. Until then, I'm James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and of course, be well.